All right, everyone. What's up? It's Monday night. I talked the boys into doing one more draft. So that's what we're doing tonight. It's going to be draft night for some Canon books. We're going to show off the Youtini Timeline. We got a little bit of news about some new books coming our way. We're all hyped up for the High Republic. Oh, and Wes finally put something on his back wall. Punch it! What is up, everyone? Welcome into the Living Force, a Youtini Network podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Eric Eilerson, and joining me tonight is this Rockstar Zero, and also three of my greatest friends to do some Canon book draft. And first off, we have fresh off of the night shifts and a day off, Dr. Corey Helton. Hey, buddy.
Monday. Yeah, man. Feels good to be back. I'm well rested. I missed you guys, man. I did watch you live. If anybody's here that was with us last couple weeks, you might have seen me in the comments. I was typing away. It was fun. It was fun, man. It's fun to watch, even when you're not participating. So I had a blast. Glad to be back, though.
Well, yeah, I've never had to ban that many comments from the chat in a single video, so we're glad to have you here. Dr. Charles Hankel is here, fresh off predicting accurately all of the NBA semifinals.
Yeah, I did do that. I just talked about what I wanted to happen, which was mostly for the Nets to lose. So I'll take it.
Yeah, the Empire. Every time a super team dies, an angel gets its wings, I think. So,
God.
But you know who already has wings and doesn't need new ones because they're an angel in my eyes? Wes Jenkins. Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I got home and my hair baby over here had dirt on his paws. And I was like, what were you doing today? And so I took a peek out the window, and sure enough, he dug another hole. He dug another hole because he is bored while I'm at work, because I've been at home working from home for the past, year or so. And they made us go back in. I only go 3 days a week, and I come and work home for 2. But for those 3 days a week, baby. He goes
three holes a week.
3 holes a week.
Dad, look at this! Look at this hole I built, Dad. Look at it! I dug this hole.
Are you proud?
He watches me fill it in. He's like, "Well, just gonna dig it again tomorrow."
It's like the world's longest game of fetch. He's like, I dig it, and then you fill it. It's great.
Oh my God.
Oh well. I'm glad Doc has you home now tonight, and we're glad we have all you here tonight. As we said in the intro, tonight is another one of our, I'm deciding, famous book drafts. We've drafted Jedi in the past. We've drafted teams of Sith, and tonight we're going to be going through each era of canon Star Wars storytelling, and we're going to try to build our best team of books because, hey, we're a book podcast. So we're going to show off some things you can find on the Youtini Timeline while trying to make others look like fools by taking the best books possible. But before we get to that, a couple things. First of all, a congratulations from Youtini and the Living Force as a whole to Carrie Fisher, Ewan McGregor, and Ming-Na Wen, who are all going on the Walk of Fame over in Hollywood. And guys, I got to be honest, I was pretty surprised they weren't already on there.
Yeah, me too. It seems like they give those to literally anybody. So I don't I don't really know. I don't really know why. I mean,
They didn't have Carrie Fisher?
Yeah, is it like maybe I just made this up. Can't you buy your way onto the Walk of Fame?
You have to.
Okay.
Someone has to sponsor you and pay the fee.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's all it takes, I think, right? So
yeah. Well, because Jimmy Smits got on there earlier this year, but now like the Star Wars community, as it grows, so does the Walk. And Ming-Na Wen was adorable on it, especially on Twitter, because I don't think anyone loves being in Star Wars as much as Ming-Na Wen at this point. Miss Fennec Shand is all about it.
Yeah.
So,
well, it sounds like a pretty good Patreon reward. Maybe when we get to that point, we'll just buy ourselves a Walk of Fame star. It probably costs like $1 million, something ridiculous.
Oh, great point. Oh, hey, aside from us, Chirps in the chat, real good question before we get into the main part of the show tonight. Will there be any major spoilers in this show? There will not. All the
No.
books we talk about, we'll talk about why we love them, why we're drafting them, but we will not be spoiling major plot points because ideally, we hope that you will hear our teams, you will hear our draft, and then you will then want to go out and get these books and read them. So we don't want to spoil that for
Wes
you.
has not read
I
any
will
of them,
do
so
my
he
best,
cannot.
Charles. I will do
Yeah.
my best.
Wes isn't gonna. Wes can spoil random books on random Patreon shows on sometimes. So no, but
I
good
said I was
question.
going to go back and edit that, and I never have. So don't go watch
Definitely
it.
did not. But speaking of Patreon, we want to take this time to thank our glorious patrons, including our new patron this week, David Nizamov, who became a monthly patron of Youtini. Thank you so much. And we want to let you all know, we have been talking this week about trying to find a freaking Saturday night when we can do our trivia night Patreon reward. And we are working on it.
We picked 2 dates this week and they both fell apart, like literally immediately.
Like
So
my mom, Sally Eilerson on the Alliance High Command, is directing a play in my hometown. One of the weekends we were deciding, so I'm gonna go home for that and support her. We have a wedding that I'm going to one of the days.
I just didn't want to
there's
do
other
it.
calls. Corey doesn't want to.
Just kidding.
Over
I
from
totally
the
want to
first-
do it again. I had a blast the last time we did anything involving alcohol with our patrons. It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm
we
gonna
remember.
bring out
Yeah.
my pool hat again. It's gonna be fantastic. I'm gonna have to go hat shopping.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we should all do.
Oh,
Let's go thrift
we all get
stores and go
special
hat
hats?
shopping. Yeah, we all need hats.
You are-
I love
IOH.
that. And also because we're taking more time, ideally we'll be making new graphics, we'll be making new things to play with. So stay tuned. We're also going to try to talk a Youtini member into moderating that we haven't asked them yet, so I'm not going to announce that on the show, but wouldn't that be funny? All right. So thank you, patrons, again, youtini.com/Patreon and patreon.com/Youtini for all of our extra shows and extra content. Thank you all so much. We love you. All right, now it's time for the Star Wars Weekly Roundup
You don't have
with a graphic.
You don't have sound.
With a graphic.
There's no
Corey,
sound.
if you please.
There
Can you
go.
tell me what this? Can you introduce the segment
yeah,
for
oh, yeah.
me,
There
Corey,
we go,
properly?
there you
All
go.
right.
The Star Wars Weekly Roundup.
All right.
Oh yeah.
There you
All
go.
right. Thank you to Ryan and our team for that amazing new graphic. This week, 2 things of book news we want to tell you all about. First thing is that we here love E.K. Johnson's Padme books. As you all may know, Queen's Shadow is the book we talked about maybe the most on this show because we had a really great change of heart in it when we read it last year. Then Queen's Peril was a great hit on our team. It has over a 9.0 on the site. And we are getting the 3rd book this year, Queen's Hope. And we've decided, we want a cover image. And we got one. Look at that gorgeous freaking cover. It is all Padme all the time with that
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith
Fantastic.
hood.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that is a Padme Jesus right there. That's what that
Yes. That's the
Padme
technical name.
Jesus.
Yeah. Absolutely love it. It's gorgeous. And those 3 books together are going to just look astounding on the shelf.
I know. I think I can pull that up really quick. I do have this is on our site.
Our press release we put up.
That's right. You can kind of see the picture here of them
Mhm.
all side by side. But yeah, it's really cool. Somebody pointed out immediately in Slack that like you get the the queen right on the far left, and you have the half and half, and then they went with this one. So that's like amazing design choice. It looks fantastic together.
Definitely.
The visual transition of Amidala to Padme fully. Like
Yeah.
she is
here's
fully
the
Padme.
the image that who Jacob did this I think on the team, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good.
Yeah. It's going to be great. Again, that's coming out in, I believe, November of this year. Pre-orders are up on youtini.com right now. Love that art. Really tremendous stuff. Next thing we want to tell you all about is a book that got announced on This Week in Star Wars, which is Star Wars Battles That Changed the Galaxy from our friends at DK. This is a book that is going to be another glorious reference book because DK is amazing at those. But y'all, this thing looks like a historical textbook of war. I mean, first of all, that cover is dope as hell.
Yeah, it looks really cool. This is like, I don't collect a lot of the reference books, but occasionally they announce one. I'm like, I have to have this, and it looks fantastic. The article on StarWars.com is impressive, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you pull up,
look at
pull up
these
some
spreads.
of these. You pull up some of these spreads. Yeah, it looks crazy. Look at this Geonosis shots. Like these are really, really, really incredible. It's
Yeah.
got a lot of animated stuff. We have Felucia. I think my favorite one was this one over here. Oh yeah, the map of
Map
Scarif.
from the
Dude.
top down.
It looks sick, man. Like
You could
I
really
can point
double
out
down
every
on your.
place that I have died on Battlefront.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The flavor text on StarWars.com says, written by Jason Fry, Cole Horton, Chris Kempshaw, and Amy Ratcliffe, with a foreword by ILM visual effects supervisor Roger Guyette. The expansive book promises to provide fresh insights on the dramatic battles we've seen play out in Star Wars films, animation, books, and comics. Obviously, on the Living Force, we love those last two. I love that all the reference books lately are doing books and comic stuff. Like, it's the same. It's all one universe. Like, Rogus Voss is in here from Vader Down. It's incredible.
Yeah, it looks sick.
Very excited.
Looks sick.
October 4th, keep your eyes peeled. Get those pre-orders in. Because, again, the more we pre-order, the more we get these things. The more we get. It's 1-to-1. It's pretty easy math, right? And, of course, speaking of pre-orders, if you want those, or if you want these lovely High Republic books Next to Me Tonight, which come out June 29th, next week, y'all. Next week. Be sure to go to youtini.com to our new releases page, which you can access on the beautiful new homepage design. Get those in. We got affiliate links for Amazon. We got Books A Million and Bookshop recently. So if you want to help support your local indie bookstores while also helping support Youtini, that's now an option for you, because we know a lot of people may not want to buy from bigger publishers, which is totally legit. So yeah, go ahead, check those out. And thank you to Frank and the entire database team for everything you do. Charles, we got 2 book reviews this week to tell everyone about. Can we go through them?
We can. Let's do it. The first review that we have this week is written by Lando. Love that guy. He wrote about The Truce of Bakura by Kathy Tyers. 4 stars, says a fun intro to Legends. And so Lando says the only Legends books I've read are Darth Plagueis, Tales of the Bounty Hunters, and the Young Boba Fett series. I finally launched my much anticipated and prepped for Legends Luke journey. I'm basically starting with post-ROTJ and focusing on the exploits of Luke throughout the Legends timeline, perhaps with pit stops here and there. The Truce of Bakura was a fun way to launch this journey. It was a breezy read that I managed to power through in 2-ish days on the beach. It's got Force lore, Imperials, Rebels, dinosaurs, and cyborgs. It's maybe not the most natural progression from ROTJ, but it kicks off this era with an explosive story and interesting character goals for the characters. Luke wanting to start the Jedi Order. I think I'm most looking forward to the Thrawn trilogy and Jedi Academy trilogies back-to-back in this read-through. Leia and Han being in love and still involved with the war against the remaining Imperials. This book is a nice intro point for the non-Legends savvy and may just grab your interest in continuing down the rabbit hole of this timeline. And so I have not read The Truce of Bakura, but I've heard fantastic things from Freddie over at Legends Look Back. This is his go-to Legends book, I think mostly for the dinosaurs, which sounds weird, but also cool. I'm sure I'll get there one day. Lando, you beat me to it. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I think Freddie's through multiple copies at this point too.
Absolutely.
Have one.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the way to read a Star Wars book, is on the beach. So I'm jealous. But all right, Corey, I choose you, sir.
I choose you.
I'm going to read it in this voice.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Matthew J. reviewing Catalyst, a Rogue One novel by James Luceno. He gave this book 4 stars. He called it something a bit different. Most Star Wars stories are about battles or adventures. This story is a bit different, focusing on how Krennic grew through the Republic, and then the Empire, and how he manipulated everyone around him. I loved seeing more of how the inside of the Empire worked in the transition from the Republic to the Empire. It is a perfect example of what the books can be added. Perfect example. Man, I'm struggling with this. This is the voice.
Let's turn that off. Let's turn that off. It's a perfect example of what the books can be as the added context to the film that wasn't required but makes the story that much more enjoyable. I already loved Rogue One and can't wait to watch it again after reading this book. Very good. Very good. I like Catalyst a lot too. It took me a long time to get through Catalyst for some reason. It sat on my nightstand for a long time in medical school, but I like that a lot. It definitely adds a lot to that story. It makes Krennic and Galen Erso's story like all the more valuable, I think. So
Yeah, I think that's a Luceno tradition too. Luceno books have to sit somewhere, and you got to look at them for a while, and you got to like play the mental game of like, I'm gonna read you.
I'm gonna read you.
And they're like, you'll try.
Yeah.
It's a nice little back and forth.
You will try.
But I love
Yes.
that point too of like it's an example of what the books can be because it adds the context that isn't required because no one wants homework, right? We don't want to have to do extra work to understand a mainstream film, but it gives you that little extra spice. It's a little bit of flavor. Love
That's
it.
right. That's right.
All right. Speaking of flavor, speaking of spice, we're going to bring it all to you on the other end of this ad break. Look at Jose's glorious work, the stuff you can get youtini.com/merch, and then we're going to be back so I can absolutely wipe these clowns in a book draft. Be right back. All right. And we are back. Just another shout out to Jose for all of the incredible work that you do on those shirts and the mugs and everything that has our logo on it. It makes me very warm inside. All right. So tonight, everyone, we are going through a book draft, but not just any book draft. We're going through a book draft based around the Youtini Timeline. A lot of you may know that the Youtini Timeline is one of our most used resources, frankly, on the entire site. People find the timeline and come to everything later a lot of the time because it is broken up into eras really nicely. And tonight we are going to go through all the eras of canon reading, and we will be picking teams of one book from the High Republic, The Fall of the Jedi, Reign of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, New Republic, and Rise of the First Order. Now, how this works is that we can pick as we go around any way we want. So you can get like your number one draft pick might be your favorite Age of Rebellion book because you don't want anyone to have it. But maybe I know Corey wants a Fall of the Jedi book and I'll snag that early. So eventually we will have one from each, but we will not be going in High Republic, High Republic, High Republic, High Republic, Fall of the Jedi, Fall of the Jedi, Fall of the Jedi. So a little more tactical. And Spice Den, thank you so much. You already put in the chat what Wes has put in the description, a link to the Youtini Timeline if you want to play along. If you want to play around with some filters, we'll also be showing you a visual of the timeline. So, like we always do with every draft, we got to pick an order. And because if we just asked you all in the chat, Wes would go first every time, we have a wheel to spin that Corey made an official Living Force branded name wheel. Did we not?
I did. And this is very interesting. This is placed directly in the middle. It actually looks pretty good. That's not what I intended to do there.
Look at that.
I was
That's
actually
the
going for
timeline.
this.
All right.
The wheel spin. Yes. The wheel spin.
A nice brown, orange, yellow color motif.
Yeah.
It sucks. I don't want to be brown. I don't want to be brown. I want to make Wes be brown.
Wait, what?
Oh
I'm
my.
gonna change it.
You know, if you change my name, I'm gonna be first, right? All
There
right.
it goes.
Yeah.
Now,
All right.
now Wes is brown.
Mess with the algorithm. All right, Corey, spin that wheel.
All right,
Who's
let's do it.
Drafting
Let's do it.
first.
Spin it, spin it, spin it,
Spin.
spin.
Wes.
Where
Oh
stops,
my
nobody
god. No, it's
knows.
me. Yes.
Oh.
I never win anything. Yay.
That's
my
That's
God.
supposed to be Wes.
All right, you're supposed to be Wes. That's exactly it. All right, Corey's first. First.
All right.
So again.
I'm
Here we
I
go.
gotta open up a Google Doc so I'm gonna remember which books I'm choosing.
I opened up Microsoft Excel.
Oh my god.
All
It,
right,
it
Wes.
pays off. All
Oh my
right.
gosh. All right. Charles and I already made a recount. All right, who's going third?
Come on, orange. Come on, orange. Come on, orange.
On orange,
They're
orange.
both
Which
orange.
Orange.
There you go.
All right.
Sucks to suck.
All right, Charles and me. Wow. All right.
In
We
Eric's
have
words.
proven superior to you in this arbitrary game of chance.
Oh my gosh. Well, for you in the visual show, what you will get, we will put the timeline up as we draft, so you can. Thanks, Corey.
Spin you.
If it's orange,
I wonder who
Eric.
it's gonna
If
be.
it's orange,
Who's it gonna
his
be?
Mother.
I like how I still get the confetti though.
His mother. Nice.
Oh man, excellent,
That's
excellent
great.
reference, Charles.
I do the
Oh,
Wattos
man.
here. All right, so folks, we are going to go down the timeline. Wes, you have the first pick. You may pick a book from any era in canon. This is the
Let's,
one. This is the Zion Williamson pick of the draft.
Let's
Did you
look at
say,
the.
Wes, you have the first pick?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
Corey
I
does,
have the
I'm
first
sorry.
pick. Oh my
Dang
god,
That's
you
fine.
suck.
Could be Wes.
All right.
Let's look at the timeline really fast because
Yeah,
like
tell us what we're looking
the
at.
one thing I do want to point out about this. Oh, why is it not showing? Hold on a second. Well, whatever. You don't really see that. The filtering. This is what we have turned on the filtering menu. We have like these are the defaults. We just left the defaults on. That's what we're going to use in the draft. It's movies, adult novels, young adult novels, and audio dramas. So that will be the things that are sort of up for grabs. But you know, if you haven't played around with the timeline, check it out. It's pretty rad. This is the most visited part of our website. It's not one of the most visited. It is by far the most visited part of the website, and it's fantastic. I have
Also,
to say.
as we go through, I'm putting us on the spot now. Whenever we pick a book, we will click the more info button, so you'll get to see what the book profile looks like on the site.
Good
Maybe
idea.
not the full one, but like the little preview.
Good idea. Okay, what am I gonna
All
pick?
right.
What am I gonna pick? Let's see here.
Every era is open. This is Corey's 1-1, and then you have.
I think I know what he's going
This is strategic, Corey.
That's right.
Strategic.
He's done a lot of research, luckily, and prepped a ton, right, Corey?
I did. Well, you didn't tell me that we were gonna do this. Like, I can choose any era thing. Like, come on. I didn't know that was gonna
I
be a
literally
thing.
did.
You know what?
listeners.
You know
I
what?
literally
I
did.
am predictable. I am gonna pick Master and Apprentice.
I knew it.
Nice. Number one pick.
Yes, number one pick.
tell us the
Master and
details.
Apprentice.
Tell us the
Yeah, all right.
details.
Master and Apprentice, written by Claudia Gray, was released on April 16th, 2019. This is the number 4 on the Youtini reading order. Like, we recommend you read this very early on in your Star Wars reading journey. And it's currently rated 9.5, which is the masterpiece category. And I have to say, I wholeheartedly agree with that because, like, I love this book. It's so good. It's one of my favorite books, I think, that we've written. It might be my favorite canon book. Like, it's seriously up there. I absolutely
really
love this
good.
one. It's so good. It's so good.
And which era is this for our listeners at
Oh,
home?
this is in the Fall of the Jedi era. I believe.
Fall of the Jedi. It's like
Is that correct?
prequels.
Yes, Fall of the Jedi era, which is like
All right.
yeah, after it's like the prequels era essentially.
All right.
You know, somebody
Solid
brought up recently in Discord that we should consider putting Master and Apprentice in the Foundational 5, maybe instead of somebody else. And this is the only book
Yep.
that we have ever discussed possibly swapping out something in the Youtini Foundational 5 for. And I
Yep.
think that says a lot. So
Or maybe we'll do like the startup 6 or the startup 7.
This-
Engaging 8. You know, we'll create. I love it. Great pick. Great starts. That was the Trevor Lawrence easily. Now, Wes, I wanted you to go first. Clearly,
Yeah.
you have the next pick. What era are you going?
The era I'm going is the High Republic, and I am strategically picking Light of the Jedi.
I hate you a lot. I
Great
just want you to know that.
Great choice.
The Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. So that gets us in. This is the first book of the High Republic, and it gets us into whole new characters, all new Jedi that we've never read about before. It gets us into, let's say, it. Just to preface, it's before the Phantom Menace, so it's 200 years. Are we saying 200 years, 300 years? I think it's 200 years, right?
400.
Oh yeah, it's 232
it's
BBY.
232
It's right there on the
BBY. Yeah, right there.
timeline.
Right
There it is. Hey, and our verdict, or Youtini's verdict, is at a 9.6. So it is also put in as a masterpiece.
it is.
So
It is.
one of the
This is-
reasons why I picked this book, because A, it was pretty damn good, and B, it is one of the only 2 High Republic books I've read, so I had to snag that
yeah.
off the board.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a
Sure.
solid strategic pick. I can't blame you. I can't blame you.
Also 16 in the reading order. Like I still think it's impressive that after all this, like they just introduced this era and it's pushed so high for all of us. I think that literally
Yeah.
I think the High Republic is a fantastic jumping in point for new readers. Like it really
Sure.
is. So
I
I mean,
agree.
I wouldn't have any qualms with this being like the first book that somebody reads, you know.
But also in the High Republic, we were saying we're allowed to pick books that are coming out very soon.
I guess we
Yes,
have to
yes,
because we haven't read
Correct.
Anything on the timeline.
Okay. All right. Got it.
So Charles, you have the next pick.
It's my turn. Okay. Great choice, Wes. Strategically, I tip my cap to you. But I'm gonna start playing to the audience here. I'm gonna choose a book that is not almost in the foundational 5. I'm gonna choose a book that is in the foundation.
Ooh.
Because it's foundational, guys. I am gonna choose a book from the Reign of the Empire portion of the timeline. And Corey, if you would scroll right on down to Revenge of the Sith novelization, sir.
That's not canon.
That's not
That's not
Totally
canon.
canon.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Look at the timeline.
Do you see it on
Are
the
we gonna say
timeline?
slant? Are we gonna say slant canon?
No, it is the
no,
first round.
bruh.
No.
All right, I tried.
I love that build up though. I really
did.
love
All
it.
right,
Like,
all right.
I have
No,
to
I'm
tell
just
you.
kidding.
I had to tell you. I had a split moment of panic. 'Cause you're like, Rings of the Sith novelization. I'm scrolling. I'm like, it should be right here. It's right here. All the planets in the region converge to this one point.
It should be here, but it isn't.
It should be here, but it isn't. But if it's not in the
Seems like
Jedi
Marty
Archives, it
entire
doesn't exist.
novelization.
Somebody erased it from the Youtini Timeline.
All right, fine. I will allow it. I'll put that one away.
Okay.
I'm gonna go then to Age of Rebellion.
Okay.
Age of Rebellion. And I'm going to choose the initial Thrawn canon novel right there.
Oh,
white
yeah.
cover.
Solid pick.
Good choice.
Nice.
Good
Timothy
choice.
Zahn, of course, because it's a Thrawn novel. Number 9 in the reading order. So we're talking top 10 here. And I personally would rate it higher than the 8.2 that it has on the site. I really, really love this novel.
Yeah, it's good.
A great choice.
And now if you think about how many Thrawn books there are in canon, it's important. This book is very important.
For sure.
And as a side note, the original Thrawn canon novel by Timothy Zahn, they have a graphic novel out that I got from when Youtini was doing book boxes, and that is pretty much a Cliff's Note version of the book.
Yeah,
It's good.
You can
Great intro.
if it takes you a while to get through a book, then you can. If you pick up that graphic novel, it gives you a quick summary of what you had already read beforehand, so you don't have to go back and read previous chapters.
a
Dude,
great
and
call.
I really love I love hobo Thrawn.
Yeah, like on the planet.
yes.
Yeah, long, beautiful hair.
Yes, it's crazy. It's long,
Long,
which is
beautiful
it's
hair.
it's especially hilarious to think about, like, now that we've gotten what he was like in the Ascendancy, because he's this serious cut military guy, right? So like
Yep.
he went from that to pretending to be like a scavenger or whatever, right? So you know,
It's great. Great call, Charles. I like that. All right. I'm at the turn. I get 2 picks in a row. My first pick is going to be coming from the High Republic era. And I am going to choose, coming out next week, The Rising Storm by Kevin Scott. This is a book that I will be actually writing the review for, and Emma will be doing our video review coming out soon. No spoilers, obviously, but as embargo has passed, I will say it is tremendous. It is a phenomenal book. I finished it a little while back. I'm already listening to the audiobook. Kevin, I mean, he delivers expertly, features a lot of the characters on the front, and of course we'll go deeper in, but I'm so pleased that the second book of the High Republic really delivered on the promise of the first, because as we said, this era is already so great. Kevin gets to play with a lot of the toys that he loves in the comics, and you can really tell the love of the era in Star Wars on every page. And it's an epic. I mean, it's truly epic. So real happy to have The Rising Storm on my squad. And I'm really interested to see where the next picks go in the High Republic. But my next pick, because I know you guys haven't read it, so not as much conversation about this one. But my next pick we can talk about a little more is from the New Republic era, I believe. Yep. And it's going to be also one of our Foundational 5 books. I'm grabbing Lost Stars by Claudia Gray
Oh man.
for the New Republic. This book has a 9.8, a masterpiece level. It is number 1 in the Youtini reading order. I mean, what else can we say about Lost Stars at this point, right?
I mean,
we can say
it's a masterpiece.
Resort
Resort
to
to
us
win.
unless you have read it.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. I still continually, even after all this time, 4 years of running a Star Wars company, and I still universally recommend it as the first Star Wars book everybody should read. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's this is one of those things that, like, you know, we say, you know, we have a lot of like pretty strong opinions about like positivity and like, you know, choosing joy and those types of things. Like, I feel so strongly about Lost Stars that if you like come out and say that you really didn't like it, like you hated it, you thought it was terrible, I think you're objectively wrong. Like,
like you'll say it to their face.
Yes, I will absolutely say it to your face. I think you're objectively wrong. Like, it's fine to love things and dislike things. If you read this whole book and you're like, you know what, I did not like this book. Sorry, dude, you're wrong. Absolutely wrong. Like, there's no way around it. Like, it's phenomenal. It really is a great book. I listened to the audiobook again last year, I believe. Oh yeah, because we did a roundtable on it, right? So that's when we read it again, and it holds up at the test of time. It's so good. Does not feel like a young adult novel, I don't think.
No.
Like,
well, rather than that, also, I think it actually just redefined what young adult novels are in my mind. Like,
Yeah.
oh, they're actually all the young adult novels that have been written since Lost Stars. You can tell.
right. They're just adult novels with more sex in them. That's all they are.
Yeah. In the cave under the blanket. All
That's right.
So I got, to recap, Rising Storm by Kevin Scott for my High Republic pick, and then Lost Stars by Claudia Gray for my New Republic pick. All right.
Nice.
We're on the turn. Charles, back to you.
All right. So I'm gonna make a strategic pick here. This is not. It's
another Legends book.
Yes, it is another Legends book. I gotta snap it up before anyone else in this canon draft gets it. I am gonna go to the High Republic era, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab Into the Dark by Claudia Gray.
Nice call.
We know how fantastic Claudia Gray is. It's the only other book in the High Republic era that I have read. So I can tell you I enjoyed this book. It was fun. It was different. It was very, very different. I felt like in tone and in pace and in scope to Light of the Jedi and what I expect from the Rising Storm. But it was still Claudia Gray, which is saying a lot. And you can see from the score there, 8.9. I mean, this is a solid novel.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a great call. Love that, man. All right. Wes. Yes, got it. Wes, back to you, man.
I am going to go with the New Republic era. And my second pick in round 2, my first pick of the second round, that's hard to say, is Star Wars Victory's Price.
Okay.
Nice.
That one is going to
Great call.
Pull it up here.
Third book in a trilogy. Bold move, Cotton.
Number
See if it works out for him.
2 in the reading order. But it was given an incredible, which is a 9.0. Yes, it's the third book of the Alphabet Squadron trilogy, where everything comes together. And I really enjoyed this book. I think everybody got what they wanted at the end. So that's definitely my second pick. It could have been my first. I really enjoyed this whole series, but I could only pick one in the New Republic era, so I ended with the climax.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, if you want any more info on that was it our first 3-part roundtable?
It was.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we took a bid for that.
You know, funny. It's really funny you brought this up. I had a buddy of mine who's in my one of my colleagues in my residency program texted me the other night when I was on call about this book. It's pretty funny. I'm gonna read you the text.
Way.
I'm gonna read you the text. Yeah, because he started listening to some of the audiobooks. I got him to start reading them and stuff, and he listened to it, and he sent me a really hilarious text. He said, "These thoughts are brought to you by Elijah Craig in the inflatable hot tub." He has an inflatable hot tub in his garage, and he was like a little intoxicated listening to Star Wars book. He says, "I figured out what I loved about Alphabet Squadron. It's like Star Wars written by Quentin Tarantino. You never know who's the good guy or the bad guy because those aren't real."
Dang, I also have the same thoughts drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. It's just true, man. Like
That's great.
We talked a lot about being like exhausted after we read the Alphabet Squadron trilogy because they're they ask such heavy questions that have never before been asked in Star Wars, and it's hard hitting, man. And I think you either really love it, you really get it if you're that deep type of person, or it doesn't speak to you, right? It's one of those things that like it gets such a heavy topic. It's like you either like reading philosophy or you don't. You know what I mean? So this is how it is.
I love it. All right. It is back to Corey. Now, listeners, I'll give a little strategy input. Corey now knows that all of us have High Republic books. So he could grab one now, or he can wait till the last round because none of us will be picking them.
That's right, because there's nothing.
The only tip I'll give this whole draft.
None of us have read them either. Have you read that one, the last one that's left? Do you have it yet? I see it. I see it in the shot. So I'm assuming you have started it at least.
Yes.
Oh man, you guys have taken some of my picks, so I'm gonna have to.
A lot of good books.
A lot of good books. Let's see here. I know what I'm gonna get. I got it. I'm going to choose again from the Fall of the Jedi era, and I'm gonna choose one that I think a lot of us. Wait,
you get one per. Loved. You get one per era.
Oh, one per era.
That's the whole point of the draft.
Damn. You took Master and Apprentice.
So how are we gonna get? How are we gonna do the High Republic? Because there's none left except for this one.
Yes, there is.
You got one.
But nobody's read it except for Eric.
Then you
better hope it's
good.
Oh,
I have to take it then. All right. Well, if I'm gonna have to take it, then strategically, it would be foolish for me to have to waste my slot now for it.
That's literally what I said.
Would drink what was put before him. Only we would expect you to not be a great fool.
Listen, the Elijah Craig and the hot tub were interfering with my brain.
All right, so Corey, you can get any other. You have two books now. You have because you're at the end of the second round, and then you got the first, the third. So you got two.
Okay.
The only thing you can't pick is the thing you just tried to pick.
All right. The only thing I can't pick is
literally everything else is available.
There's one rule.
All right, fine. Okay, so I have to take one from every era. So let me look at this one. I'm trying to figure it out. All right.
He's gonna panic pick, guys. I'm
not panic picking. I'm choosing a good one.
He's choosing a good one. We've all been in here.
Oh my god.
Pivot, Corey,
pivot.
Joe Mixon.
Reign of the Empire, Most Wanted. That's what I'm choosing. Reign of the Empire is
that's a great choice.
I love this one. This one's really high up on the list too. Number 9 is Reign of the Empire. This is like right after Revenge of the Sith.
I was hoping that could be like a quiet pick for me.
I know. Like I think Most Wanted goes under the radar for a lot of people. This one was released in 2018 by Ray Carson. It's sort of the what does this little sticker right here say? Actually, I've never even noticed this on the cover.
Oh, it's like based on Solo. Like it's just a promo for Solo.
I broke the timeline. It's reloading because it thinks I'm on a tablet now. So. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, really good one. We were just talking about Kira earlier. Like she said that she was gonna, or the actress said that she would love to come back to Star Wars, and good stuff.
Which would be incredible.
Yep, for sure.
All right. So you got Most Wanted.
All right.
Then started the third round.
Let me open that one back up. I'm trying to leave them open as we have picked them, so you can kind of see.
Oh, great call.
Kind of see
great
what's.
idea.
All right, so my next one is going to be from the Age of the Rebellion.
Okay.
Age of Rebellion era, and I'm going to go with another young adult novel of Rebel Rising.
Dang, great call.
I know.
That book's awesome.
Good,
Another book that I really love. Like, I think that Most Wanted and Rebel Rising are like the two go-to like prequel books in my head that are like the most directly related to their films, like more so than any other sort of prequel books, right? And that was the intention. They were released with that sort of marketing around the movie time, right? So this one was released in 2017 by Beth Revis. It's really just about like everything that happened, like after the the prologue of the book, of the movie. Sorry, everything happened after the prologue in the movie with Jyn Erso, like coming at like when Saw Gerrera gets her out of the hole, right? It leads up to before the movie starts, right? So you get that.
The hole, the Doc Dub.
I know
that hole.
I know.
All right.
The line that Jyn says in the movie, which is explained where she tells Saw Gerrera, "The last time I saw you, you left me in a hole with nothing but a blaster," or whatever. Yeah, that'll happens in the book. It's really good. It's really good. If you haven't read this one, then I highly recommend it, particularly if you're a fan of Rogue One.
Oh, hey, Steven in the chat says just ordered Rebel Rising today.
Nice.
Look at that.
Choice.
That's right.
All right.
Oh yeah, the curse of Corey might be ending in real time before our eyes. Thank you, thank
Back
you.
to back fire picks.
I know these are both really good.
All right, Wes, what do you got, man?
Okay. For my first pick of the third round, I'm gonna go follow the Jedi era,
Okay.
and I'm torn. Can I
Ooh.
pick two?
You absolutely cannot. But I'm glad to know that you're torn.
Okay. I'm gonna go with my gut on this one as I listened to it 3 times. I'm gonna go with Star Wars. That's it.
That's it. That's what you. That's
With
what you
Star
listen
Wars.
to.
Dooku,
I
Jedi Lost.
too have listened
Dang!
to
Great
Star
pick.
Wars 3
Great
times.
pick.
Yeah.
Here you go, Dooku Jedi Lost.
So
Can
That
someone
was-
choose the audio drama and someone choose
No,
the story?
Corey has been chosen.
no, I open them both. Although the audio drama is rated higher by
it's
0.1
rated
points.
higher, yeah, than the-
I've never
than the script.
I've never
Better
noticed
story.
that. How did that happen? I mean,
I don't know.
I guess they are reviewed separately, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So
But Wes-
it was
Wes,
released.
tell us why.
It was released in 2019 by Kevin Scott. So it was the first audio drama that we got from Star Wars. So it was the book itself came out later, but when you get the book in, it's just it's a script. So it's the characters and what their quotations are, what they're saying. There's no dialogue in the background, right? But the audio in the back, the sound effects, I don't know, the whatever you call it, the observational
All the
music
voices.
is amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's so good.
Yeah.
And because it's the first of its kind, it gets very highly rated. And what I really liked about this book is they went into a character that they need to go into more in. And
Yeah.
I can't say anymore, and I really want to, but because I have my hands tied, and I've got in trouble last time. So.
Yeah,
That's fair.
this is our first kind of glimpse into Kevin Scott's mind as well, and like,
Yeah.
it really showed us how incredible of an author
Loved
he is.
it.
And 8.4 is low in my humble opinion.
I think
For
so.
Dooku, I agree.
I think so. But we have a huge review team. That's why the 4 of us, our scores are always very different than the Youtini review team. So
That's true.
But that book changed how I even hear the word Dooku. I don't consider this spoilery, but if you've read it, you'll understand. When I hear Dooku now, all I hear is Dooku. Dooku. Dooku.
yeah, that's true.
Count-
God.
Great.
Count Dookie?
Yeah.
Dude,
God, that was in
Yes.
the book.
It happened.
Oh my
did it.
God.
the mad lad. All right. Charles, Dooku Jedi Lost off the board.
He gone.
All right.
What are you bringing in the third?
All right. Corey, scroll up to the top of the timeline, click Legends. I'm upset because what I did preparing for this, I'm not gonna lie, I, like Corey, did not read the full instructions, and I thought we had to go one era at a time. And I chose 3 books from each era, and I was like, if all of these are gone, I'm in trouble. And a lot of them are gone. But I am going to, I've got to snap this up because I realized you don't know what you got till it's gone. And I thought Wes was about to pick this, and I could feel a pit in my stomach. So I'm going to stay in the Fall of the Jedi era,
Okay.
and I am going to choose Dark Disciple.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
Dark
Yeah.
Disciple.
Don't know
There
what
it
you
is.
got till it's gone.
Oh,
God.
They
Hair
paid
metal
paradise to
boys.
put up with Quinlan Voss. Yes, they did. Dark Disciple
Man,
is
dang
a
it.
fantastic book. It's by Christy Golden. We have sung this book's praises, I think, plenty of times on this show before. It's another one that kind of slipped under the radar. Like, people don't talk about this book enough, I don't think.
Yep.
And it's Clone Wars era. Like, it's everything that you love from the show, just packaged into a nice, perfect little story. And reading this book, I've said this, reading this book on vacation is one of my fondest random Star Wars book memories. So it's got to be on my team.
That's super solid.
I think Dark Disciple is actually come around. It's transitioning from like nobody knows about it to then it was a bit of a cult classic, I think. And now it's almost like a secret that's not actually a secret anymore. Like
because the hardcover became so expensive because everyone's like,
right.
oh wait,
That's true.
Yeah,
we
that's
didn't buy
true.
this.
But like frequently on like Reddit and Facebook groups and stuff, and people are like, "What should I read?" I see this book come up all the time nowadays. Like people really recognize that it's a good book, and it's true, man. I didn't read this one for the longest time, and it's really phenomenal. It feels like the Clone Wars. Were these unaired episodes of the Clone Wars? Were they?
Yes.
It was based on that.
Wow, okay.
I
This was part of the Star Wars books we haven't read segment, and when we revisit this, I need to have this one read. So I also don't get in trouble. I got so many demerits with Youtini. I don't know why.
Wes is actually on probation with us, guys. We just
That's
we haven't told you yet.
This is his punishment, is being on the show every week.
That's right.
All right. Charles, great pick. That would not have gotten back to you. So know that I was absolutely going to take that. But in my turn now, third round to the fourth, I'm going to start a new era because I fear that this will not come back to me. Corey, take us to the Rise of the First Order era, if you please.
Oh, wow, it's our
The
first
very end.
our first
The very
visit
end.
here. Yeah.
Yep, and I'm going to take one of our United favorites of I think it was last year or year before last, and that is Rebecca Roanhorse's Resistance Reborn.
Sure.
Yes.
This book was in the lead up to the Rise of Skywalker. Has an 8.7 on the site. It's 37 in the Youtini reading order. And when we read this, we called it the biggest love letter to canon, and it's the only full-length novel that Rebecca Roanhorse has written for Star Wars so far. Desperately hope it's not the last, because man, this book was awesome. It was like a good Poe book. We got some great Wedge in there. Just a super fun book.
Much needed for this era too, I believe. Like it feels uniquely standalone. Like it covered characters that we want to see in the movies. Like it did stuff that we hope the expanded universe does, but has unfortunately, because of the timing around the sequel trilogy, you couldn't really do it, right? Because they didn't have a grand plan like going into the movies. So it's hard to let authors stretch their creative muscles about characters that may have super conflicting stories later on, right? So they gave her the script and everything before she wrote this book, so she could write around it, and it paid off, man. It was really, really good. A lot of times when authors are sort of backed into a corner, like being forced to write in a certain way, they don't do great with it. But I mean, she nailed it.
Yeah. And it was one of the creepiest villains that we've seen in Star Wars canon too. Like the guy that just like almost beat that like younger girl to death.
Yeah,
remember
man, it was
that?
violent. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My gosh.
And we interviewed Rebecca Roanhorse back in the day. It's been a hot minute, but go back and listen to that interview if you haven't listened to it. She was really cool.
It was a blast.
Yeah, we had a good time.
All right. Now let's see. My next pick. This is a tough one because now we're getting later. We're just about halfway now. We're halfway through. So now the picks get a little more intense. I'm going to go. Okay. I'm going to go to the Reign of the Empire. And I'm going to pick one that we talked about when it came out, but much like a lot of these books didn't really talk about after. I'm going to pick Solo, a Star Wars story expanded edition by Mur Lafferty, the novelization of Solo.
I knew you were
It's a
gonna do
good
that.
choice.
You're good at it. Look how sexy it looks butted up against this the Solo
look at that.
movie like label. I love it.
I love it so much. It has a 8.3 for the site, 48 in the order. And this was like early Youtini stuff when this came out. This is 2018. And I remember, I think I gave this book like a 10 on a round table. I just really loved the way she wrote the characters. And I wouldn't give it a perfect 10 now, but I still really love it. And it added some really great scenes, like between Kira and L3 had some great stuff. The epilogue of this book is freaking great. Like, it's just a really solid pick. And if you're a person that is a make Solo 2 happen person, or you've really been wanting more of that, and you didn't get a chance to go back and read this, pick it up. We haven't gotten that many film novelizations just because we haven't gotten that many films. But the Solo novelization, I think, is just a really solid one.
Is it the best novelization outside of Revenge of the Sith? It might be.
I think so. For my money, I think so.
I think
Phantom
it might
Menace?
I was saying Phantom Menace is up there.
Phantom Menace is up there
It's
too.
those two. But
Yeah,
Phantom
for
Menace
sure.
is
Phantom
a little
Menace
below it for me.
Novelization is one of the most pleasant surprise books I have ever read in my life.
I absolutely agree to that. But the Solo one is great because I think Mur Lafferty, gets the voices of the characters better than some others because the lines aren't verbatim from the film, which is always a risk in a novelization, right? But I think she does it super well. And if you want to go to the solo thing, read Most Wanted and then go into the solo novelization, it is a great time.
Also, no spoilers, but heck of an epilogue.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the epilogue in that. Yeah, that was fantastic. I watched Solo on night shift 2 weeks ago, and I was pretty tired, and I had a couple of hours. Had like an hour. Well, I guess I finished the movie, so I had a couple hours. I was trying to get some sleep because I had some downtime. I was like, let me do my classic, pull up my Star Wars film. It helps me go to sleep, you know. And you know, I've told you I never pull up Rogue One. I never pull up Solo because they're too exciting, right? And I was like, you know what? I haven't watched Solo in a long time. Let me watch this one. This is what I'll fall asleep to. Nope. Couldn't do it.
Nope.
I just stayed awake the whole time. I watched the whole movie. It was phenomenal. It's the first time I've seen it in like a year too. So it was really good. Really, really good.
Immersive novelization just it keeps that kinetic energy, which is really hard to do sometimes in a visual medium. So
for sure.
Love for the solo novelization. All right, that is
Charles.
4 out of my 6. We are in the second half. Charles.
All right.
We got?
I want you
Good books
to
here.
jump back to the New Republic, if you would.
Okay,
and
I'm getting nervous.
you can scroll right on back up there, sir. I'm gonna take Alphabet Squadron, the actual first book of the Alphabet Squadron trilogy, and I'm choosing this book. Man, these books are so dense. I guess I should say this is number 20 in the reading order. It got an 8.1 overall, but this is one of those books like Victory Price where you probably rated it either higher or lower than an 8.1 based on what you like, and it just averaged out there. This book and that trilogy in particular really, in my mind, is like kind of one of the tent poles of fandom. Of like canon books, not of just all fandom of Star Wars since 77. That was a stretch. But that's how I think of it. I think of like these Thrawn, all these canon Thrawn books is like kind of one cornerstone, like the Alphabet Squadron trilogy is another. Like I really do put it up there as that important into a look into really what was the New Republic in canon. And I look forward to them building more books based off of that trilogy.
Yeah. Sorry, Rob in the chat says this is like Charles grabbing Atlantic Avenue after Wes grabbed Marvin Gardens. for our Monopoly friends
I don't know what that means.
Oh, come on.
You never played Monopoly, Charles?
Monopoly,
come on.
I don't have the patience for that.
Oh my God.
If you know, you know.
That's right.
Great pick though, Charles.
Funny
Very
side
solid.
note on Monopoly. Whenever you land on go to jail, we always put like a little airplane bottle of booze in the middle of the board. So you have to put money in and you have to take that booze.
Oh, Wes, the more I learn about you,
Monopoly.
the more I want to play games with you. I want to play video games
play
with
with
you.
my
You
parents or
have
anything. I play
so
with my
many
friends.
unbelievable stories. It's amazing.
Love it.
All right,
Back to you, Wes.
back to me in round 4. I am going to move to the Reign of the Empire era,
Okay.
and I am going to snag E.K. Johnston's Ahsoka off the board.
Good call.
So this one was picked by me, yes.
Was picked by me.
And it was released in 2016, and it goes over the events of Ahsoka Tano after she left the Jedi Order, and what she's doing now. So I read this book because we were going to do a roundtable on it, and then we didn't follow through with it. But I was a quarter way through it, so I kept reading. So that's really how I started it, but I ended up loving it, especially the end. Especially the end is very good. End is very, very good. So definitely pick this up. It's another YA novel, is it not?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
And it's also one that consistently like is always in like the top 5 or 10 books on Amazon for like Star Wars. Like this book
It is.
sells all the time because people
is.
love Ahsoka, and every time she pops up, people buy it more, and it's awesome. It's great.
I picked this one up at Target in like 2019, so it was restocked and put there 3 years after its
Wow.
release. Yeah, so
Yeah.
sure, pick it up.
Oh, and Ashley Eckstein, the voice of Ahsoka, does the audiobook. So
That's
if you got
right,
an audible
yeah.
credit, listen to Ahsoka read her own book.
For sure.
Come on. All right, Corey.
All right, back to me. So
These are your not your last two. Your what?
yes.
What's
That's
second to last
essentially
and-
my last. I can probably skip my last round because I'm going to end up with the High Republic novel. But so I'm looking at my eras that I have left, and I have the Rise of the First Order era, the New Republic era, and the High Republic era left. I think I tried to exit out of my tabs as I was. I'm getting confused because I got all you guys, all your picks too, opened up. So I think I'm going to go to the let's see here. Let's go to the Rise of the First Order era.
Great.
Push this back around.
Mm-hmm.
And
So you have a Google Doc.
that's right. I am going to go with where's the book I was going to pick? Actually, you know what? It wasn't this era, but that's okay. I'm going to go with this era anyway. I'm going to pick the Rise of Skywalker Expanded Edition. And this is I know, man. I know. This is the obvious pick for me, I think, out of
great,
this
for
era. It was
sure.
good. It was so good. Like, this was another good contender for like best modern best modern what am I trying to say?
Novelization.
Movie novelization. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we reviewed it high. It explained a lot of the, the what did I call it in our episode?
Three cardinal
sins.
unforgivable
Oh my God,
sins.
unforgivable sins. The most awful thing I've ever said. Yeah,
But it fixed a lot of stuff that we didn't care for.
It fixed a lot of the issues that the fandom in general didn't really care for. I think, and
Palpatine's, I bet you're wondering how I got here moment.
yeah.
Here's a
very
page.
true.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Record scratch. That's a Robot Chicken skit, I believe. Is it not?
Record scratch.
I think it is.
Probably.
I think it is a Robot
Yeah.
Chicken skit. But anyway,
With
yeah, this one was
Palpatine,
very
probably.
good. We gave it an 8.0. It's pretty high up in the reading order. Released in 2020. Ray Carson wrote this one. Good stuff. It was really good. You should read it if you haven't read it. Especially if you have mixed
Yeah.
feelings about The Rise of Skywalker. I think it's definitely worth the read.
Well, and fun fact now, Corey, you have now accidentally gotten 2 Ray Carson books on your team with Most
I have.
Wanted and The Rise
Yeah.
of Skywalker. She's great.
She's a good author. I
She
really
is.
like her work. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It gives you some clarity. The book gives you some clarity to if you had questions coming out of the movie. That's just
That's right.
For sure.
That's why you need to read it.
Spice Den says in the chat, if you're watching live tonight, or if you're watching this later on Tuesday of this week, Ahsoka is going to be on sale for Prime Day on Amazon tomorrow. So
Nice.
if you need to pick it up. All right, Corey, one more. You got the turn.
All right, my next one I'm gonna pick is the era that I thought I was choosing first, but I got confused what era this book was in because of the nature of the character. Now I'm in the New Republic era, and the other book that I'm going to choose is Phasma by Delilah
Dang,
S.
yeah.
Dawson. Phasma, I think, is in my head a little more to what was it Charles? Was it you that picked Dark Disciple? Was that you that picked Dark Disciple?
Yes.
Yes,
it was.
yes. So Phasma is sort of, to me, filled that gap that was Dark Disciple of like, this is the unbelievably good book that nobody knows about. Like, I think that it's just, I mean, have you guys read Phasma even?
Oh, yeah. It was one of my first
Yeah.
ones I read like back in the day.
Yeah,
'Cause,
Phasma.
like, no one talked about it.
Charles, you haven't read it either, I don't think, have you?
I have not
yeah,
read Phasma.
yeah. A lot of our team has not read Phasma, funny enough. And I just picked this one up on a whim one day when we were between books way back in the day, and it is really, really good. I mean, all the stuff that happens on her home planet is phenomenal. It really does a good job of explaining her character, regardless of what she has to do in the films. Like, I think the purpose of the book is kind of to explain like why Phasma just like turncoat on the First Order a little bit. And yeah, it does do that well. It explains that background of her character, but like, man, her family history is crazy, and how she know where the First Order is crazy. And it's really, really good. I really
It
enjoyed
introduces
Phasma.
Vi Marati.
That's
Mhm.
right.
I mean,
it does introduce Vi
does.
Marati. Yeah, the whole book
Which is
is
huge.
told. The whole book is told in the like context of a torture. Like that's the
Yeah.
like information
Her
is
and
being
Cardinal.
extracted from the character. Like it's so good, man. It's so good. You should
my
read
God.
Phasma if you haven't read it.
Rob says it a great point. Phasma is heavy metal
It
Star
is,
Wars.
yes, it totally is. It's like Mad Max
Yeah.
kind of vibes in it. It's true.
Yep. All right, great pick.
Yeah.
Wes, you're second to last, man.
I'm second to last. So
Or you're second to last pick.
we are gonna move back to Rise of the First Order.
Okay.
And because Corey took my pick, I'm gonna go to my second pick, which leaves me like tied up again because I wanted to. There's two of them, and they're from the same damn place. But I'm going to take Star Wars Galaxy's Edge: A Crash of Fate.
Nice.
Yeah, A Crash of Fate is it was going to be my pick. Came out in 2019 by Zoraida Cordova, who we also interviewed, did we not? I think we did we not?
I think I don't remember.
Or is that the one that is that the one we
I think we tried.
You know, I don't think we did interview Zoraida Cordova.
No, we tried. It fell through.
Yeah, we tried really. We scheduled it. It feels like we did interview it because we scheduled it literally like 5 times, and it fell through like with professionally, like through the publisher, and like things kept coming up, and I think that was when we tried really hard. So it feels like we did, but I can't picture her face, so I guess we didn't. That's pretty bad.
Well, so this is another YA novel. I'm surprised I picked so many YA novels.
They're really good.
Yeah, they are really good. So it's about 2 childhood friends, and they're in the spires of Batu, which is the Galaxy's Edge location that you would see at like the Disneyland parks. And it's really, really good. It reminded me a lot of Lost Stars just because of the dynamic between the 2 characters.
For sure.
So that's why I essentially really liked it. I wasn't too keen. I was reading everything that came out, like every canon book that came out, I was reading it regardless of whether I thought it was good or not. And once I started getting into it, I couldn't put it down. It was super good. Really, really good.
Love that. All right.
Fate.
Charles.
Back to me. All right. The eras that I have left, I believe, are Reign of the Empire and Rise of the First Order. And I'm gonna take this pick from Rise of the First Order. This is a unique choice. It's a book kind of unlike anything else.
I think I know where you're going.
Really on this timeline, except for maybe its twin brother or sister, if you will, that it did not resorb. So keep going down there, and I'm gonna choose. There you go, Star Wars Myths and Fables.
Yes. Amazing.
As I was saying, incredibly unique book from my good buddy, dare I say, best friend, maybe second only to Kevin Scott, George Mann. Myths and Fables is so cool. If you can't tell from just the cover itself, with like a massive flying crate dragon. This book is insane. It's all like legends from within the galaxy. This is, you know what this is, guys? I just realized this is making up for my choice of the Revenge of the Sith novelization earlier, because this is legends within canon.
It's
Exactly.
true.
You made it work.
Okay,
You
that
made it
makes
work.
sense.
And so I'm quite pleased with that, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
All right. I love it, man. Yeah, Myths and Fables. I mean, I remember when we first read that book, it was the biggest surprise of the year that we all liked it so much. And we're like, give us more. They're like, all right, here's Dark Legends. And we said, great, give us more. And they're like,
how many
Life Day Treasuries coming out?
I know.
Like,
Yes. And they're like, oh, you want more? Here are 4 different versions of the same book, and they all have extra pages in them. So it's like,
yeah, man.
holy smokes.
So good.
So I can't even
Charles.
keep track of how many editions there are. It's like a Target edition, a Galaxy's Edge edition.
3, I think.
3.
Each one? Yeah, crazy.
Yep.
All right, Eric, where are we going?
All right, last 2. I have Fall of the Jedi and Age of Rebellion. So just for fun, let's do Age of Rebellion first. And I am going to pick something that came out this past year. Corey, if you want to scroll down a little bit, I am going to pick by Sarah Kuhn, the Dr. Aphra audio drama. I thought this was fantastic. As someone who didn't always love the Aphra comics as much, this made me absolutely fall in love with the character. I thought Emily Wu Zeller's performance was just completely defied description. It has an 8.0 on the site, and just did a really great job of taking a character from another medium and putting them directly into audio form. And I loved all the character effects and the fact that they were able to do it like during quarantine. We did interview Sarah Kuhn, we did interview Mark Thompson, and talked about it. And just the process, the whole thing was kind of amazing. And I really liked the story. A lot of fun. So happy to pick Dr. Aphra, get her on the list for my Age of Rebellion book. And my final choice is in what is surprising to me, the most populous era, which is the fall of the Jedi. This is the most stacked era. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
I think so for sure.
think
My
so.
gosh.
I'm surprised by how many Rebellion era books there are. Like in the era
Yeah.
we were just in a minute ago. Like this is I think the longest era. I'm pretty sure in canon. But man, there's a lot of good stuff in this like prequels era age. And I don't know if that's because we're all prequels kids. I don't think it is. I don't think that bias is here. I think these are just really good books, man. Like
Yep.
look at all
They're
of them.
just super
There's
solid.
so many phenomenal books in this list. What are you picking?
It made it very tough, but because of I had to go with my heart on this one, and I'm going Queen's Peril by E.K. Johnston.
Queen's Peril.
This book 9.0 on the site blew us away last year. I am happily like a resident handmaiden stan. I got my girl Sabe being incredible. It made the Phantom Menace frankly epic. Like if you read this book and don't immediately go watch the Phantom Menace, I don't trust you. I don't know who you are. Yeah, the invasion of Naboo gets really freaky and it gets like actually scary. And all the headwinds do a great job. I think even though it takes place before Queen's Shadow, I think it took a step up in quality from Queen's Shadow as a prequel and really made Queen's Hope one of the most anticipated books of the year. So
yeah, I forgot about that part when the oh damn it. I liked it.
great job, Wes.
I liked
Great
it.
job, dude.
I liked it. Oh man.
Yeah, Queen's Peril. Happy to end my team with that. So Dr. Afra and Queen's Peril bringing us home on my team.
Wes.
Damn.
Good choice.
I'm so at the end of my
Oh
seat.
yeah, I
wanna
love
spoil
that
it for
part
everybody.
when. Oh yeah, we can't talk about that. Oh, fantastic.
I think my favorite thing about those Queen's books is the code words that you learn about that were being used.
My favorite part of these books was the scene where they're on Tatooine. This is not a spoiler, all right? This is a funny scene because it's in the
Said
it's in the
Corey
film.
before a spoiler.
Yes, I know. They're on Tatooine and like it's in the film when Obi-Wan comes in to tell them that they got a transmission from Naboo or whatever. They're like, "Hey, we got a transmission from Naboo." Nobody reply, and he leaves the room and somebody's like, "Does he think we're idiots? Like, what the hell?" It's like, "What are we stupid?" Of course we don't reply. Obviously,
Why
it's a
would
trap.
we?
Like, God, these
I
Jedi.
think it says Obi-Wan leaves with like a dramatic swoosh of his cloak too. Like very young Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he does. He does. It's like,
Also,
no shit,
Spice
Sherlock. Like,
Yeah, it's remarkable because also like Spice Den puts in the chat a great point. Queen's Peril also a Prime Day deal tomorrow for all of you watching. So if you need to pick it up, and there is a scene that is absolutely terrifying that I really love. So pick it up, enjoy it. I can't spoil it for you. Happy to round it out. Charles, what's your last pick, man? Finish strong.
All right, my final pick. It has to be from the Reign of the Empire. I will say what I'm about to choose is not one that I had numbered in my list before we started this, but tough times call for tough decisions. I'm actually going to choose Lords of the Sith. Lords of the Sith. It's by Paul S. Kemp. It is not one of the highest ranked books on the site. I will say that, but I had to make an informed decision here. This is one of the last ones that I read in this era. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be upfront with you, and I'm gonna hope honesty scores me points. With
oh my
listeners.
God!
Wow.
Listen,
Hey,
No,
like-
Charles, man.
Hold on.
Trying to rig it. Trying to rig the voting.
It's a cool book. It's not one of my favorites. It's really not. But the cool thing about this book is two things, and these aren't spoilers because you'd get this just from reading like the synopsis. You get to spend time with Cham Syndulla, okay, and everything that he was up to, and the force powers in this book feel on the level of Force Unleashed.
it's like Dragon Ball Z, dude. It's like Dragon
They're
Ball
wild,
Z.
man.
It's insane.
I like controversial opinion here. I really enjoyed this book when I read it, and like it wasn't until well after I started Youtini that I found out that it didn't have the best opinion in general amongst the fans. And like I would have given this book way higher than a 6.7. Like right after I read it. I mean, it's like it's super kitschy, I guess. Like the Emperor is just, they have some guards with them, like some Imperial guards. I think it's implied that they don't like know that he's like a Sith or whatever, and then like everything goes to shit in the book, and like so he just like starts being a Sith like out of nowhere, and the guards are just like, is he okay? Like,
does everyone see what's going on here?
Yeah, and he like it's really really good, and it's humorous, and like the banter I think between Vader and the Emperor is really good, and like the Emperor gives him a lot of shit, and it's fun, man. It's a fun book. It really is. It really is. And Sham Syndulla is a good character.
Yeah, he is. Speaking of those Imperial guards, too, fun random fact. There's an early printing of this book in which one of those Imperial guards has multiple deaths within pages of each other.
I forgot about
What?
that.
Yeah. I have that
publish
version
it.
of the book. Yeah.
That is-
Dies twice.
How does that make it through the publishing process? That is crazy.
It's just funny.
Everyone's
It's just
human,
funny.
man.
Only
right.
stormtroopers can die multiple times.
God, great pick.
That's-
All right, Wes, what do you got, man?
All right,
Finish
I'm
it
gonna
off.
round it out. My last era is the Age of Rebellion, and this is kind of a personal pick for me because this was my very first canon book that I've ever read.
Oh wow!
So I started out reading Legends, which was the original Thrawn trilogy, and then my first canon book that I ordered, like as a pre-order, and it came in right when it was released, was Star Wars from a certain point of view. So from like the
solid.
the 40 short stories of A New Hope. And so this one came out in 2017, and I thought it was the most interesting thing that they branched off of the movie from the characters that you saw in the movie. So they have 40 different stories of like side characters, and since it's my first canon book that I read, I didn't know anything that happened like that. So I was telling all my friends, I was telling my buddies at the bar, and this is before I kind of even knew really what canon was.
I want to bring books to the bar. That's gonna be great. Like, hey man.
And he was like, I was like, it's all these stories that kind of branch off of the movie, and you can follow along with the movie. And he was like, is it canon? And I was like, yeah, it's canon. and I was like, what did he even ask me?
Is there a canon? I mean, they shoot stuff. Yeah, I guess there's canon.
What the hell kind of question is that? Is it a canon? Are you drunk?
Great pick.
It's a book, you fool. Did you see it?
And hey, speaking of audiobooks,
It's a good pick.
yeah, we've talked about audio dramas in this draft. Audiobooks. The audiobook From a Certain Point of View
vastly
is
superior.
Superb.
Vastly
John
superior.
Hamm is Boba Fett.
Yeah, I guarantee you, if the review team had exclusively listened to the audiobook, this would not be a 7.4. It would probably be an 8.5 or higher. Like it's the whole. There's an entire chapter told from the point of view of the what's his name? What's the long snout aliens? The
Long snoot.
No, he sold out.
Basically the G.
He sold out Luke and Han in Document 94.
Yeah.
Gwandarian.
What's that? The chat. Help me out, chat. I know you guys will probably know.
Laura from Force Toast would know this.
Yes, I know. I always forget what that guy's name is. But anyway, the alien that you see for like 3 seconds in freaking A New Hope.
Garindon. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, Garindon. Yeah, exactly. That's it.
God.
Yeah, there's a whole chapter of his story, and it's spoken in his mind, and it's and whoever did the audio production. I don't know who did that. It might have been Mark Thompson actually, but they spoke in his like alien sounds, so it's this like really nasally voice. It's like, what the hell is this? It's like Oscar-worthy acting. It's incredible. Like it's so good. It's like I never would have thought that I wanted this, but I definitely did. Yeah, it was Thompson. That's what El Rob says in the chat. I think it's so good. It's so good. It's like the whole thing is just in that sound, and the sound effects are top notch. Like it feels like more like an audio drama, and you know, it actually might almost meet the qualities of audio drama because they had a variety of audiobook narrators, if I remember correctly.
If it was one specific, it's close. It's great.
Good
and
choice.
I love it. Great
It's
pick,
almost like they pulled it from Legend. They pulled this type of book from Legend. So it's like Tales of the Bounty Hunter. And that's just like all the events that happened within Mos Eisley Cantina as well. They had the Tales from Mos Eisley Cantina. So I don't think it's a new like type of story, but doing the whole entire movie was, I think, a great idea.
Yeah.
Totally.
Return of the Jedi coming soon.
Rob said his brother listened to it first and got on his case to listen to it because of that specific story. I'm telling you, like, there's that story and there's a Jawa story in it too that both really stand out in my mind of being really good.
Well, and as Aaron says, Claudia Gray's original Master and Apprentice story.
Oh yeah,
that's how she got
very
the book.
good, very good. That's right. A
but now
lot of
as-
authors, I think, actually, that were on that project originally, like they all got contracts to do Star Wars books later on. Like,
It's great. It's a great like audition, essentially. You know, can you write in the universe?
Who did we interview where they said they had to go first come first serve? So
Kubaz. It's a Kubaz. That's the name of the alien. Is a Kubaz. It's a
Thank you.
Kubaz. His name is Grin. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Wes. Go ahead.
No, the 40 stories, like the fact pov of Empire Strikes Back. So once like it was out, all the authors had to go, hey, I want to do the one of the Wilbur Hood. Like,
Oh yeah, it might have been Kevin.
Okay, maybe in Cavan. Yeah.
I remember. But yeah, love those collections. Corey, I want to pose you something because you're gonna go with your High Republic pick here, but I'm gonna expand the rules just for this one, so there's a little bit of intrigue.
I don't like it.
We're gonna open up
I
the
don't like
junior
this
novels. So
we vote
the
on it?
remaining books for you are A Test of Courage by Justina Ireland from Wave 1. Then other books you haven't read, Race to Crash Point Tower. I'm a little jumbly on my video. I apologize. Race to Crash Point Tower by Daniel Jose Older, and Out of the Shadows by Justina Ireland, which is the YA novel. You have not read two of them. I don't know if you read Test of Courage, but you can pick any of those.
I can't. Test of Courage. That sounds familiar. I can't remember if I read that one or not. It's been a long time since it came out in January, didn't it?
Yeah.
Test of Courage did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been a long time.
I don't
he said,
remember
as
that.
We're
I'm-
drafting books from 2017.
I know, but the High Republic, all runs together in my mind because the stories are all continuous. I cannot remember what details are from what books, unfortunately, which is annoying.
Ooh,
Some ADD as
And while
hell.
you're thinking, Stevie in the chat, Carolyn says, the fact that no one has picked Leia is a crime. We will do a round of some honorable mentions that we didn't get
Oh, for
at the end of
sure.
this draft because we are missing some great books. We will admit.
For sure.
I want to go with let's see here. Let me add it to the timeline. Let's see here. Is it junior readers is probably the category, right?
Yep. That'll be
Let's see
them.
Here we go. So let me add it. Let me flip back to the timeline here. So I added junior readers to the timeline. So we have Test of Courage now, and we have Race to Crash Point Tower. I am gonna go off on a limb here, and I think I'm gonna choose Race to Crash Point Tower. It hasn't come out
That's the
yet.
one I would have chose.
Yeah, because
Bada
Daniel Jose Older is a really cool dude.
Yes,
There's
he
like
is.
no way around it. The other book that he wrote is the solo book. What's it called? Last Shot. And the villain in Last Shot is maybe the most memorable villain in any Star Wars book, period. This crazy psychotic surgeon that like mixes droid and human parts up in crazy Frankenstein experiments, and he's scary as hell, and I loved it.
Yep.
So like I follow him on Twitter, and he's pretty cool dude on Twitter. So I think I'm
Faizen Gore is
Oh
his
my
name.
god.
Faizen Gore.
Faizen. Yeah, what kind of name? There you go. Yeah. I'm gonna go with this
And
one.
Corey, I love that you did that because before we get into our honorable mentions, that allows me to preview next week's show of the Living Force. You're so nice to you set me up like this. We will be going over what happened in Wave 1 of the High Republic in the books and the comics to get you ready for the Rising Storm and Race to Crash Point Tower right here that are coming out next Tuesday. We'll tell you what you need to read as someone who has already read them without any spoilers. We will just again gently prod you of like, hey, maybe remember who this is. Maybe read this. Spoiler alert, read the High Republic Adventures by also Daniel Jose Older. So solid. Boys, do we want to go around and tell people our final teams? Corey, do you have a solid list or do you need a minute to remember?
You know me so well. I think
do.
I can do it. I think I can do it.
Okay, great. So Corey, what was your final list?
All right, so final list, starting with the High Republic. We'll start there. I have Race to Crash Point Tower. In the Fall of the Jedi era, I have Master and Apprentice. In the Reign of the Empire era, I have Most Wanted. right? And the Age of Rebellion, I have the Jyn Erso book, wherever that is at in the list.
Rebel Rising?
Rebel Rising, yep. And then New Republic, I chose Phasma, which is down here on the timeline. And then in the first order, I chose the Rise of Skywalker novelization.
Excellent. Wes, what did you have, my friend?
All righty. Starting out with the High Republic, I chose Light of the Jedi for my first pick. And then coming back around in the New Republic, I chose Victory's Price, the third book of the Alphabet Squadron trilogy. For Fall of the Jedi era.
You know, I'm just gonna not try that.
It's
Too hard. It's too hard to like. We're getting nauseated. Throw
Fall
up.
of the Jedi era, I chose Dooku Jedi Lost. It was a tough pick, and I have an honorable mention definitely in that era. But Reign of the Empire for fourth pick. That era I chose Ahsoka, and then for Rise of the First Order era I chose Crash of Fate, Galaxy's Edge book. And then rounding out the Age of Rebellion era in round 6, I chose From a Certain Point of View, the first, going over A New Hope.
God, there's some good ones in there. All right, Charles.
All right. In no particular order, I chose from Reign of the Empire, Lords of the Sith by Paul S. Kemp. From the High Republic, I chose Into the Dark by Claudia Gray. From the Rise of the First Order, I chose Myths and Fables by George Mann. From
Your best friend.
New Republic, my best friend George. From the New Republic, I chose Alphabet Squadron. From Age of Rebellion, I chose Thrawn. And from Fall of the Jedi, I chose Dark Disciple.
Dang. Very nice. And I rounded us out with The High Republic, The Rising Storm by Kevin Scott, Fall of the Jedi, A Queen's Peril by E.K. Johnston, Reign of the Empire, solo novelization by Mur Lafferty, Age of Rebellion, the Dr. Aphra audio drama by Sarah Kuhn, The New Republic, Lost Stars by Claudia Gray, and Rise of the First Order, Resistance Reborn by Rebecca Rowanhorse. Now, of course, folks, just like we did with our last draft, we're going to put up a poll this week, and you can vote for who you think had the best team, who you think had the best draft. And most importantly, though, well, that is most important. Let's be real. We're pretty vain. But second most important, we want to hear what you would draft. So on that tweet this week, tweet out your list if you had your druthers of the best book in each era, and check out each other, support each other. Maybe you'll get some cool new books, get your recommendations in. And of course, speaking of that, boys, what are some honorable mentions that we frankly feel ashamed we did not get in this draft?
Thrawn Ascendancy, Chaos Rising.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wait, no, was it Chaos Rising? No. What's the first one
Chaos
called?
Rising.
Was the
Chaos
first one?
Chaos
Oh, yeah.
Rising.
What's the second
Yep.
one?
Greater Good.
Greater Good. Man, the names, because they announce them all. I get them all mixed up. You know how I am.
Yep.
Yeah. Chaos Rising I gave that book a 10 when we reviewed it. I loved it. I almost picked that one for this draft, but I wanted to win the draft, so I didn't
Mr.
choose
Prince.
it.
Yep. That's fair. Mine was mentioned in the chat, which was a New Republic book, Bloodline, Claudia Gray. I love that book. That one and Aftermath are both things I love in the New Republic that I just didn't have room for. But I thought were both very superb books.
The one that somebody brought up in the chat earlier, I don't remember who it was. Leia, Princess of Alderaan, is very, very good. Yeah, very, very good.
Well, I mean, on top of Chaos Rising, Greater Good should be there. I had that one where I was picking between Dooku Jedi Lost and Greater Good, because Greater Good is so fresh on my mind. But I think I made the right pick.
Sure.
Another one from the Age of Rebellion era that I read, I guess a year or two ago, was Guardians of the Wills. That was a really quick. It's a good,
fun
quick
little
read.
book. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes under the radar.
Yeah, it shows you, it shows you, things that happen in the movie that you're like, hey, how did that guy get that thing? And you're like, oh, that's how he got it.
That's not a spoiler. It tells the story of Baze Malgus. It's basically about him. He's a primary character. So he used to be the most dedicated of us all.
That was great. Also, I would say Shadowfall. Like we picked all the other
Yeah, all
ones, and
the other-
Shadowfall got a ton of awards
Shadowfall.
last year at the Youtinis, and we just couldn't find room.
That's a good choice. I will say, I told you I picked the top 3 from every era. Only one of them did not get chosen at all, and it was actually Last Shot, which we just talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really did enjoy that. But if I'm just looking through what no one picked and that I didn't have on my list either, I'm going to stay on the Christie Golden train here and say Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad. Fantastic.
I almost did that.
book.
Mhm.
Yep, that was one of mine too. So
Fun
many good
fact.
books.
You know, the one, go check out our timeline. You know, it was fun to kind of play with it and show it off. That really wasn't the intention of the show because we didn't talk about it really that much. But it's fun to come back and look at this thing. We put a lot of work into this. I think this is probably the most impressive thing that we have contributed to the Star Wars fan community, I think, is the timeline. Like it's just the most thorough, largest, prettiest on the internet by far. I'm confident about that. And it's really good. Go play with the timeline. You know, I'm not sure if you guys noticed this, but we recently added one small thing to the timeline this week, actually, is we added Books A Million links, and we added bookshop.org links. My cursor is not showing in the screenshot, but you can see the BAM logo and the bookshop.org. Bookshop.org is pretty cool. Like it allows you to buy books online and still support local bookstores, right? So, you know, we no longer have thrift books on the site. We used to have thrift books, but they pulled our affiliate because of complicated reasons. Basically, it wasn't used enough, so we pulled it. So, you know, if you're gonna buy books, buy them from bookshop.org, man. I think I'm gonna try to start doing that. It's easy to buy them from Amazon, but support those small bookstores for sure.
And like Jacob says in the chat, a huge shout out. Like we say the timeline's impressive because yes, there's a lot of work on it, but we are not the only people that obviously work on it. Like,
we do virtually nothing.
Yeah, Trev and Frank on our team. If you want to know why the timeline is the way it is, and if you're ever wondering about the order, Trev is encyclopedic knowledge of per page when events happen is insane. Like the order on the timeline is what it is because he goes through every line and figures out when events happen depending on which book. So whenever I get new books, like on my bookshelves, literally this weekend, I got some new books that I had to put on. I will pull up the Youtini timeline on my phone, and Charlie likes she wants to take a picture of me. She missed it, and because I was doing stuff. But like I pull up the timeline, and I will put my books in my personal shelf, depending on where they are on the Youtini line for Legends and Canon, because I know it's accurate, and then I know how to find them.
And it's not like an easy decision to place books on the timeline either, right? Like
no, it's very hard.
Star Wars, it's not like Star Wars books, just like one comes after the other. It's not like that. They all happen at the same time, and it's very complicated. My favorite example is Lost Stars, because Lost Stars covers well before the creation of the Empire, all the way up to the beginning of the First Order. I mean, there's like a huge time period there, right? So, you know, like Trevor and Frank use this encyclopedic level of knowledge to very strategically place every single book on the timeline. And like every once in a while, somebody will email me and be like, "Hey, you know, I think you guys made a mistake. This book seems like it should be in a different place on the timeline." I'm like, "Okay, that's rich." Like, and I'll send it to Trevor, and he'll send me like a 3-paragraph explanation, and I'll just copy paste it and send it back to them in an email, right? So, because we put a lot of thought into this, and you know, we have probably thousands of hours invested into this, whether it's web design or data mining or tracking down images. Like it's a lot of work to maintain the timeline. And you know,
we hope you like it, honestly.
I
hope that everything is easy. And again, if y'all, we do have a feedback channel in Discord that has actually helped us a lot with stuff like this. So if you are going through the timeline and either a link doesn't work or something's up, let us know, but also just enjoy. We hope it makes it easier. We hope that these lists gave you some books maybe you haven't thought about in a while. Maybe they're older and you haven't bought in a while. Maybe you got, get yourself a wish list. And again, pick up some sales on Prime Day if you want. We hope you enjoy. But also, as we do look forward, we hope you come back next week when we're going to get you ready for Wave 2 of the High Republic. It's here. We've been waiting. It seems like a long time. It's only been, like 5 months?
Long have I waited.
Yes, the stories are here. Next week, the internet is going to explode. Cannot wait to get these books. Can't wait to own freaking 4 different versions of The Rising Storm. I've accepted it. It's fine. But we'll see you back Monday night. We'll tell you what characters you need to know, We'll tell you what the plots were of the last ones. We'll tell you if anything happened in the comics that you need to catch up on. But of course, our friends at the Cosmic Force will help you out with that because they did a High Republic show last week. So if you're on the YouTube right now, go earlier in the feed, check out that High Republic show. So they'll tell you all about the High Republic comic and the High Republic adventures. We'll see you back next week for a recap. Be sure to go to Twitter, vote in this poll, give me all those votes. Let me keep winning these drafts.
And that, sorry. No. Let's point out one more nice comment. I want to point out one more nice comment from the chat. Aaron Thompson, where did it go? He said, "Oh man, I couldn't vote between these 4 lists. I'd be very content with any." So really, we're all winners here for experiencing these wonderful stories.
That's what losers say, Charles.
All right, on that is going to do it for this week's episode of The Living Force. If you support us on Patreon, you are responsible for this madness, and we thank you for it. We can't wait to do a trivia night for you. Stay tuned. A special thank you, as always, to Cheryl Bell, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sander on our Jedi High Council, and Elizabeth Cloutier, Jason Mitchell, Freddie C., and Sally and Chris Eilerson, our Alliance High Command, for your support of this and all things UTD, including that timeline. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Eric Eilerson. Corey is at Dak Star Wars MD. Charles is at C. Henkel, and Wes is at Boss Wes. A special thank you to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor, Ryan, our graphic designer extraordinaire that put up that brand new graphic earlier in the show, and Wes, our producer and community manager. Thank you to Corey, Charles, and Wes for podcasting with me. Make sure you vote in the poll this week. Let us know who won. And as always, may the Force be with you.